There's quite a bit to cover with you. First of all, I wanted to ask you this comment by Lee Anderson, the Tory MP. Let's start with you, Kevin. He says that the Reform UK, which some people might not have heard of, presents a bigger risk to the Conservatives than the Labour Party at the next election. Do you agree?
No, but he's under threat in his own seat in Ashfield, where he fears the Reform Party was the Brexit Party, was UKIP. Right-wing party will take votes and he will lose his seat. There's no doubt the right of British politics is fracturing between the Conservatives and Reform, and that will help Labour. But no, Labour's a bigger threat. Keir Starmer's a bigger threat.
But by the way, Lee Anderson also said that Reform is... He didn't just say they're a bigger threat to the Conservative Party. He also said they're a bigger threat to the country at the moment than the Labour Party.
Well, yeah, and he also said he agrees with 80% of them, yeah.
Well, I think we're underestimating... We're talking about, very safe blue seats potentially swinging Reform, which is, there's merit there. But we're also underestimating red wall seats that did vote for Brexit, that have traditionally voted for restricting immigration, that have, voted against the excesses of globalisation.
But where do you think they'll go? Where do you
they'll
think
probably
those
also go Reform. That wouldn't surprise me.
So
because
sure
the thing is,
Brexit
as well...
has failed, though.
Because the thing is, hold on, they'll be ideologically less inclined to go towards Labour because they see them either as the same as the Tories or even worse. I mean, if you think about it, if you're a traditional working class voter from the north, what do you have in common with any of the two big parties? At least Reform is talking to them. That's the difference.
Well, as I said, I think actually this step back to Labour for a lot of the red wall voters, we probably would see that come in. I think they've been so let down by Brexit. I think they'll understand that Reform won't be able to give them what they probably want. And what this country needs actually is stability. What this country needs is...
But if we just look at it electorally, right, Reform, when it was the Brexit Party, didn't stand in Conservative seats. It's a Thatcherite right-wing party. Now, if it's going to stand in Conservative seats as well as Labour seats this time, which it will, then it is going to be a threat to the Conservatives. It will fracture that right-wing vote, and that will be good for Keir Starmer and Labour. Just straight electorally, that's how it will be.
I think the bigger concern is we not knowing as much about Reform's policy positions as the other parties. That's the issue, because we know Reform's, political history has been mainly focused on Brexit. Where do they stand on other issues like social policy and housing?
Exactly. You can't just stand up and keep talking about Brexit at the next election.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it's the same thing.
8 years of it unrelenting.
The people who talk about Brexit now tend to be Remainers. They're the ones who define themselves on it. They feel they lost. It's proved to be a disaster, while a lot of people who voted for Brexit like to avoid it now because it hasn't turned out the way it was promised to voters. But they're a very anti-migrant party, Reform. I think that's where they will hit it hard. Now,
do you think that has any effect in the Labour heartlands?
Only a little. I think you've got to be more. You've got to be more than that, and it feels that is their only real selling point at the moment.
If you look at coastal communities that have demographically shifted quite radically, like Norwich and all these areas, you can actually see the sway of Reform. My issue is I don't know where they stand on anything else: education, housing, social policy, infrastructure, all of these things. We can't have one party that says something that we like and think, oh, they're going to save Britain. That's not good enough.
And we do deserve to know. Let me take you on to another